Martell's secret relationship plan didn't just fail, it completely blew up in his face. He thought he was the smartest man in the room, moving like a chess master, making quiet moves, and setting up what he believed was a perfect strategy. In his mind, he was controlling the board. But what Martell didn't realize was that the game had already changed, and he was no longer the king. He wasn't even a major player anymore, just another piece being moved around by bigger forces. When his plan finally came to light, it didn't simply fizzle out. It exploded in full view of the very people he thought he could influence. Every detail spilled out, and instead of applause or respect, he got embarrassment and backlash. The same audience he was trying to play ended up watching him lose. So let's break it all the way down. In Martell's mind, the plan was genius. He wanted to bring Arionne Curry, the woman tied to the biggest scandal in his life, into the spotlight on Love and Marriage, Huntsville. And not in a small way. He wasn't thinking about a brief cameo or a passing mention. No, Martell wanted her to have a permanent seat at the table, as if she belonged right there alongside the original cast. But here's the thing, Arionne wasn't just some random new addition. She was a living reminder of betrayal, lies, and years of public mess. She was the center of the affair that broke his marriage to Melody, a marriage viewers had invested years into watching. The idea of giving her a platform wasn't just risky. It was like lighting a match and throwing it into a room full of gasoline. From what's been whispered behind the scenes, Martell's hope was that Arionne's presence would shake things up enough to push Melody out. He thought she'd get frustrated, maybe even walk away, leaving him free to control the narrative without her. But here's the problem with that logic: Melody wasn't just another cast member. She helped build the show. She was one of the main reasons people tuned in. She was the woman who lived through humiliation on national TV and still held her head high. She carried the show's emotional weight season after season. Trying to edge her out was more than bold, it was reckless. And believe it or not, Martell almost pulled it off. Quiet talks were allegedly happening in the background. Producers and decision-makers were being approached with what-if scenarios. There were conversations about how this twist could spice up the show. But when the idea made its way up to the higher-ups at OWN, it didn't just get rejected. It got slammed down so hard that doors practically locked shut. Executives weren't just saying no. They were offended. To them, Love and Marriage, Huntsville wasn't just another reality show you could throw random chaos into. It was a brand. It had a reputation. It was supposed to be about love, growth, family, and building legacies, not about giving center stage to the very drama that destroyed one. What Martell saw as a clever move, they saw as pure self-sabotage. But this isn't where the mess stops. While Martell was plotting his big move, the entire show itself was already cracking. Viewers had started losing interest. The storylines weren't hitting like before. Ratings were sliding downhill fast. The numbers didn't lie. The last episode barely scraped past 197,000 viewers on cable. That's less than the population of a mid-sized Alabama town. And a drop like that doesn't happen overnight, it's the result of viewers slowly checking out over time. Carlos King, the show's creator and executive producer, tried to put on a strong face. He posted about the show's year-to-year numbers, thanked the fans, and painted everything like it was fine. But the fans weren't buying it. Social media pages like TV Deets were posting the actual ratings, and the truth was brutal. The show had hit its lowest demographic numbers in franchise history. Carlos tried to clap back online, saying things like, "I love when people outside the club tell me what matters inside." But the fans weren't amused. They were the club. They'd supported the show from day one, season after season. And now, they were being brushed off like their opinions didn't matter. Here's the twist, though: while the TV numbers were tanking, the show was quietly thriving on YouTube. Full episodes were getting hundreds of thousands of views in just days. Clips were going viral, with long comment threads full of debates. But here's the thing: the audience wasn't tuning in for the inspiring stories anymore. They were watching for the chaos. And chaos is exactly what they got. A big part of that chaos came from the sudden introduction of Ken and Trish. In just 2 episodes, they managed to take over the show. They had more screen time than some of the original couples who had been there from the beginning. But their drama felt forced, loud, messy, and over the top without the depth that made past conflicts compelling. The heart of the show, the marriages, the personal growth, the real-life building of businesses and families, started disappearing. In its place was a constant stream of arguments, shouting matches, and quick tempers. Fans noticed, and they didn't like it. The show's original soul was gone. Meanwhile, Melody had gone completely silent. No Instagram posts, no tweets, no promotion for the show. Her absence spoke volumes. People could feel the void. And when she finally did post something, it was a simple quote: "Sometimes silence speaks louder than the noise." That one line hit harder than any scene from the season. Behind the scenes, OWN executives were not happy. When Martell's idea of bringing Arionne into the cast reached them, it was reportedly met with disgust. To them, Arionne wasn't edgy, she was a PR disaster waiting to happen. Her past online behavior, the years of public shade toward Melody, and her unapologetic attitude made her a walking risk. But Martell thought fans would love it. He thought they'd be intrigued by the other woman finally telling her side. What he didn't realize was that fans weren't asking for that. They didn't want more of the same pain and drama that had already been played out. They wanted healing, growth, and resolution. And as the show chased ratings with quick shocks, it started pushing aside the couples who had built the foundation: Maurice and Kimmy, the Fletchers, the Whitlows. Instead, Ken and Trish's loud conflicts dominated. And while they brought energy, it wasn't the kind the audience wanted. Fans began to leave. Social media pages that once posted live reactions during every episode went quiet. Instagram fan accounts stopped updating. The excitement was gone. People weren't just bored, they were disappointed. They felt like the show had lost its way. Then came more hints of trouble. Stormi posted a cryptic Instagram story: "Y'all don't even know half of what we deal with behind the scenes." She deleted it quickly, but the message was clear: something wasn't right. Destiny liked a comment shading the show's new direction. These small actions told a bigger story. Word spread that emergency meetings were happening. Not about the next big plot twist, but about whether the show should even continue. That's how far things had fallen. The network wasn't thinking about a grand farewell season, they were thinking about pulling the plug quietly. What started as a groundbreaking celebration of love, legacy, and Black excellence was turning into just another toxic reality show. The ratings were falling, the cast's commitment was fading, and the overall vibe felt wrong. The passion was gone. Viewers wrote about it openly in the comments: "This show used to inspire me. Now I watch and feel drained." Another fan said, "I wanted to see healing. All I got was yelling." The saddest part? The cast didn't even seem like they wanted to be there anymore. Faces looked tired. Conversations felt forced. Even the arguments seemed scripted, like producers were throwing people into rooms just to make something happen. And then there was Martell, still acting like he was the star. But his storyline had nothing fresh to offer. Without Melody, his presence felt hollow. With Arionne, it was just chaos in a different package. Fans remembered her Instagram lives where she threw shade, her smug posts, and her unapologetic attitude. You can't erase that history and try to rebrand her as misunderstood. Melody didn't need to defend herself. Her silence said everything. And in that silence, the audience found clarity the dignity of the show had left when she did. Behind closed doors, OWN had to face a hard truth: the show no longer inspired anyone. It no longer reflected the values it started with. It was now a loud, messy spectacle with no deeper meaning. If something drastic doesn't change, this show won't end with a touching reunion or a final episode wrapping up loose ends. It will vanish quietly, without closure, leaving fans who invested years feeling cheated. People are already mourning it online. One comment summed it up perfectly: "It's like watching someone you love lose themselves and not being able to stop it." Carlos King, once praised for mixing drama with heart, now seemed more focused on chasing attention than creating meaningful moments. And no matter how much he clapped back on social media, the audience knew the magic was gone. At the end of the day, this show was supposed to be about more than drama. It was supposed to be about the truth underneath it all: love, growth, and resilience. Somewhere along the way, that mission was lost. Maybe there's still a chance to save it. Maybe not. But if they want any hope, they'll have to remember why the audience showed up in the first place. It was never just for the fights. It was for the heart. And without that, all that's left is noise. Thanks for watching, fam. Stay real, stay respectful in the comments, and remember, sometimes silence isn't peace, it's preparation. See y'all in the next video. This is Celebnova, where the drama ends and the truth begins.